Hello, and what will you be debating today?
We will be debating the fourth commandment and whether or not it's okay to disobey your parents if they're physically or mentally abusing you.
I'll be debating side A, which is not honoring your father and mother under the circumstance of physical or emotional abuse. I feel that if, your parents are harming you and abusing you, why would God want you to honor them? And if, God wants everyone to respect one another and your parents aren't respecting you, why would you have to obey their rules or have to honor them in any way? I believe that if your parents are always degrading you emotionally also, then there's a certain point where you shouldn't have to listen to what they say anymore. And that's what I think on my side A. Would you like to rebut?
I would. I believe that if your parents are physically or emotionally abusing you, I believe it's just a way of disciplining. And I believe that you should respect them even if they are harming you in any way, because they gave you life. Like, you wouldn't be in this world breathing without them. So I think, even though you may not like what they do to you or the way they treat you, I think you should still respect them enough to do what they say and to just accept it.
I understand where you're coming from with they gave birth to you and they created you, but God, I don't think it was God's plan to have someone disrespected emotionally where they're always degrading you, calling you, stupid or other words. I think that physically too, if they're harming you physically, I don't think that was in God's plan to, accept it. The church teaches to honor your father and mother, but does that rule apply? Does that commandment apply if your parents are abusing you? And that's how I feel.
Well, God didn't plan any of this. Humans are human. God created us, but He gave us free will to decide whether or not we would act in a certain way. You say that parents shouldn't degrade you, but kids go to school and get degraded all the time by other kids. It's just the way, it's human nature to do. And if a parent is getting so angry with you that they're abusing you, maybe you're doing something wrong. I think you need to look at it from both sides, whether the kid, maybe the parent has a short fuse, or it was a bad work day and they came home and their parent, their kid was just being a brat and they just lost it. I think you need to look at what could cause them to become abusive toward their child, because every parent loves their child, whether they want to admit it or not.
I understand that too, but like you said, for the school thing, you don't need to honor your classmates. You have a certain amount of respect for your classmates, but you don't need to honor them. The fourth commandment says to honor your father and mother and obey them in every way. And if they're, always putting you down and making you feel, terrible about yourself, then I think there's an exception to that. I don't think God wanted you to obey abusive parents. I think He wanted, but I can't speak for Him, but that's how I feel on my side.
But also the commandment, it's not just about obeying them, it's about respecting them. So does the commandment stop just at your parents? You only have to respect your parents. You not respect other people because you respect your parents so much. God wants us to respect everyone, and even though while your parents aren't exactly respecting you as a person when they're harming you, they just want you to be a better person. I think they have the right intention, they're just not showing it in the right way. My side is, I believe that physical and mental abuse could just be a parent's way of disciplining. Like I said, maybe if they like had a bad day or something, and like you come home and your child's being disobedient, like you're not going to want to put up with a bad work day, and the child that you have disobeying you because you had to go to work all day and take orders from other people, and now your child's not taking orders from you, which is where you're the boss. So I believe it's a way of disciplining. And parents legally do have control over you until you're 18, and I think they have the right to tell you whether or not you should do something or how you should do it, or if they want to harm you in a certain way, like you might not be okay with it, but you have to put up with it until you can live on your own and you make the rules. But as of right now, they make the rules and you have to go by them as the church teaches. I don't think that God wants you to like have abusive parents, but if that's the way it is, then I think he still wants you to respect your parents, even if you don't agree with the way they're disciplining you or the way that they're handling the situations.
And now for some final summations. Terry?
Legally, on a government standpoint, you have to obey your father and mother, and they are your legal guardian until you're 18. Religiously, the 10 Commandments, the law of God, I think the fourth commandment is, there's an exception in the fourth commandment with abuse, physical and emotional, because no one should have to respect someone who doesn't respect you. So that is my final summation.
Good. And now Jasmine?
I believe that it should just be a way of disciplining, and even though you don't agree with it, I believe that you still have to honor your father and mother. I don't think you have to agree with what they're doing, but I still think you should respect them at least, because they did give you life, they brought you here, and obviously if you have like a roof over your head and you have food to eat, then that should be respect enough for them, because they're literally giving you everything that they have. And yeah.